Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, lovely Flosstubers. My name is Claire and welcome to my channel. Today is May the 9th and I would like to take the opportunity of this video to show you what I've done on the first few days of Maynia. Stitch Maynia, for those of you that don't know, is a group on Facebook, and the main challenge of that group is based in May, and it is to do 15 starts in the first 15 days of May. And since it started 2 years ago, that challenge has expanded to, you know, fit whatever you want to make it in your life, be it whips or one new start or monogamous Maynia where you work on the same thing. But I have chosen to do it the original way, and I've done, well, I'm planning to do 15 starts in the first 15 days. I did 17 starts in 17 days last year, but I thought that was a little bit of overkill, so I've gone back to 15 for this year. And I will show you what I've done so far. First, I would like to say a big thank you to everybody that has subscribed to me recently. My numbers have gone up, and thank you so much. That is really, really lovely. And thank you to everybody that has been leaving lovely comments and questions and advice and lots of lovely things that you have put in my comments. So thank you for that. Health update. My back is still a bit of a pain. So much so actually that I've been going to Pilates and yoga at the local gym every week, and I've had to give that up. I walked out of yoga halfway through last week in tears because it just hurt so much. I can't do a whole hour of that kind of physical exercise, no matter how good for my back and my core muscles and all the rest of it is. So instead I am working my way daily through a list of exercises that I have that I've put together from yoga and Pilates and my physio when I was seeing him. And I think that should be okay. That should be really helpful. But I know that there are a few of you out there that do these kind of exercises. And so I was just going to ask if you could recommend any YouTube channels that have got some good kind of beginner level yoga and Pilates sessions on them. And then I can watch those and get some new ideas and maybe take it at my own pace, that kind of thing. So if you do know of any of those things, if you could pop it in the comments below, that would be really helpful. Thank you. And I can do some more of my bendy stretchy, as my husband calls it. You know, it's really off-putting when you're in the middle of a yoga pose in the middle of the floor. And some of these, you know, you're quite contorted, you're sticking your bum out and, you know, all this kind of thing. And your husband comes up and starts making comments. Yes, well, he's not allowed anymore near me while I'm doing my yoga. Anyway, so that's that. Right. Stitching. That's what we are here for. Maynia. I am absolutely loving watching everybody's Maynia videos, what everyone's doing. So many different starts and things. And lots of people are doing, you know, a whip that they started last year and, you know, mixed in with new starts. And it's really lovely to see what everyone's doing. And I'm managing so far not to jump straight onto the internet and find things and buy them. So my Stitch from Stash budget is quite overdrawn, and so far in May I have spent nothing. I mean, we're only on day 9, but nothing. It's good, nothing. So what have I been doing in May so far? Let me show you. I've been updating every day in Instagram and in the Stitch Maynia group, so some of you may have seen what I've been up to. But there's so many people posting, I do not expect people to remember what any individual person has done. Day 1 of Maynia, I started Things Unseen by Lizzie Kate. And this is one that I had from last year. I went out and hunted it down because Garrett, Coffee Stitcher, was stitching it and I fell in love with it. Although he was moaning about the border. I can see why. But it's really, really lovely. And I got husband to buy me the threads for it because they're all hand dyed, so a little bit expensive. So he bought me those for Christmas, and that is as far as I have got. The best. And the T in best is going to have a bit of a more of a squiggle on it as well. So, and it actually says, the best and most beautiful things in the world cannot be seen or even touched. They must be felt with the heart. and it's a quote from Helen Keller. It's really lovely. It was one of their mystery ones. And I've heard that Lizzie Kate are going to do a new mystery sampler this year. I love their mystery samplers. And it's going to be a Christmas one, and I don't know when it's going to be released, but that's just news that was on their blog this week. So I got a bit excited about that. Every time I stitch on this, I want to sing. Do you remember the old, I can't even remember who sang it. It was, the best things in life are free, now that I've discovered what you mean to me. I can't even remember who sang it. And I don't know why, because it doesn't even say the best things are free. But that's what's been going through my head as I do that. Sorry for the singing. Never mind. Day 2. Michael Powell. Love him. And this is Castlecock, which is in Wales and fairly near where I used to live when I lived in Wales. Otherwise known as Fairy Castle, I think. It's got 2 names because people who don't know Wales at all will be like, what's Castlecock? What's that? And Castlecock actually means red castle. Knowledge. Welsh. There you go. My favourite Welsh word is och fuck nad, which means supermarket. But it's a really cool word to say when you're in a bad mood. Och fuck nad. Supermarket. Anyway, Welsh. And how far I got on this one is that. So not very much, just a bit of the sky and a bit of the hill. It was probably my smallest start that I've done so far. Is that stain? Oh yeah, no, this, I was foolish. I folded up the pattern in half because I'd copied it on my photocopier at home. And so I folded it up and attached it with my needle minder so I could just see what I was doing. And then I took it off and I was like, there's a mark. Don't know if you can see. Just there. And I was like, well, what's that? Is it my needle minder that has left a mark? And it wasn't. What it was the ink from the paper being rubbed against the fabric by the needle minder as I was moving it around and stuff. So the ink itself came off on my fabric. Now that will be under frame because it's like far in the border, so I'm not too worried about it. But it's really made me kind of think before I just fold my pattern over and stick it onto the fabric with my needle binder. So I'm a bit more careful now. So learn from my mistake there. Anyway, that's my second start. Third start was my first Teresa Wentzler of Maynia. I'm only doing 2 this year. And this is the birth sampler that I am going to rechart the names for both of my children. Stick them both in there. I've told Miriam, my oldest, to expect it for when she's about 15. She's 7 at the moment. You know, that is being optimistic. Big piece of 28 count. And that is what I have done. So it is that archway. Part of that archway there. There. And it is beautiful. There's blended threads, of course. I think there's only about like 3 or 4 blended threads in there and 1 solid. Lots and lots of fractionals. And of course the back stitch will bring that to life. But it was really lovely to work on and see it all come together. The way that she uses colour is just fantastic. I love it. Big shout out to Pip Stitch. Thank you for my shout out, Pip Stitch. But he's doing lots of Teresa Wentzlers at the moment as well. I think we are definitely Teresa Wentzler soulmates. So there you go. Philip, see what my progress is on that one. Lovely. And my second Teresa Wentzler of Maynia is coming up. I'm saving it for the 15th as a kind of reward to myself for getting through it all. So I have to say, I'm on day 9 and it is getting a little bit kind of, oh, another new start. And it's not the stitching and it's not even the putting the first few stitches in that is difficult. It is every morning kind of making sure I've got the right size fabric and finding the middle or finding where I'm going to start. I don't like the actual start, but as soon as I've got the first stitch in, I enjoy it. It's just like, oh, do I need to iron the fabric? Do I not need to iron the fabric? Do I need to cut the fabric? What, you know, because I've got all the threads ready and I've put the fabric to one side. I just haven't kind of got them all to the right size and stuff. So I have to do that every day, and it's a bit like, ooh, that's the bit I don't really like. Day 4 was the Prairie Schooler alphabet, and I started on A, and I'm doing these in it's going to be a block of 9 altogether on one piece of large 18 count Ada oatmeal. It's fairly stiff, but I think it'll be alright. And this is as far as I've got so far. And the colours are a little bit darker than I usually work with, but I love it. I stitched for a lot of the day. It was really good. Now, what I've done is the red that was charted was practically brown. It was kind of a vaguely red tinged brown, and I didn't like it. I wanted it a little bit brighter red, especially looking at the picture. I mean, it's supposed to be a red. You know, that crab, it's red, it's not brown. So I changed it. I went through my DMC box and picked out a kind of slightly muted red, but a definite red. And I really like that. I'm glad that I did that. So that was that start. Big bit of fabric there. The next one was the 5th, and it was Friday. And I started gathering eggs from Mirabilia. It's quite a little Mirabilia. Most of them are much bigger than this. And I started this one with my friend Jo Perry, who is organising all the round robins in Cross Stitch Finish Line. And we started this together on Friday. And she has a blog. She's not on Flosstube, but she has a blog called Serendipitous Stitching. That's the serendipitousstitching.blogspot.co.uk. So check her out, because she does some gorgeous things. And her start is, she did the basket and the arm and the eggs and stuff, so you can really tell what she's done. Me, I started in the middle and I went up. I've got a blob. You can't tell what it is at all. But it's actually the middle bit of her dress and her sleeve. So that bit there and her sleeve, and starting to go up into her little bodice bit. And it's on a scrap of brown Ada that I got for 50p from a charity shop. And it's so soft. It's the softest Ada compared to some of the other scratchy stuff I've got. Anyway, so that one's that. Thank you, Jo, for starting it with me. It's really nice to start things with people. Then on Saturday, start number 6 was Singer Sampler from Silver Creek Samplers. I started on the Doe Deer bit here. And this is as far as I got. And I loved stitching this. Really enjoyed stitching it. I mean, it's quite simple. I don't even think there are any fractionals. No fractionals. I mean, I think that's probably why it was so enjoyable. No blends, no fractionals. Beautiful thread. Lovely. So now, I've used the recommended colours. My parents got me them for Christmas because, again, they're all hand-dyed and out of my usual budget. But this grass here, right? That grass there. It's down for Gentle Arts Chamomile, which is this. This actually looks greener on the screen than it does in real life. In real life, it looks a bit like a manky brown. Is that my hair? Chamomile coloured hair. No, mine much darker. But anyway, this grass is dead. This is not nice grass for my deer to skip happily through. So, I changed it for Guacamole in Weeks Dye Works. You can probably tell the difference if I hold them up there. Dead Grass. And this one is Nice Grass. Yeah. So swapped that one out, so now I've got a spare chamomile. It'll come in useful at some point, I'm sure. So that's that one. Really lovely. Really enjoyed stitching that one. Do a deer, a female deer. Yep, you've had enough of my singing. Right, my next one. This one, I think, is my favourite so far that I have started this Maynia. And she is the Moonlight Laguna Mermaid. She is gorgeous. And she is only available, as far as I'm aware, in cross stitch and needlework July 2014. Which looks like that, with the stitch rovia on the cover. She's in there. And this is how far I got. I'm stitching her on a 32 count even weave from Sew It All in the colour Pink and Blue Clouds, which I don't know if you can tell really with this light, pink and blue clouds, but it's very, very light, but it does give it a little bit of something. And that's as far as I've got, which is part of her tail. Mermaid booty, jiggle it. And this was my first ever experience of stitching with Water Lilies silks from Karen Collection, and they're gorgeous. I took this with me to a soft play centre with my kids, my girls. I just let them run off and I sat there and I stitched. And I got the silk out and I was like, ooh. And I actually had to stop myself going, oh, because, you know, I was in the middle of this public place and I thought, people will think I'm weird enough stitching in a public place. And I'm all for crafting in public places, you know, let's get it out there. But to start moaning in pleasure as I was stitching with this silk, I thought that might be taking it a little bit too far. So I kind of controlled myself there a little bit. But the silk is... a lot of these stitches, a lot of the slightly darker aqua is the Water Lilies silk, and it kind of forms some of the leaves and things that are around. So anyway, that was her, and I think she's my favourite so far. I want to get back to her. Definitely. Then, yesterday, we're getting through them. Yesterday was a simple one, which was Gentleman Quaker from Jardin Prive. And I don't know why, this is the actual cover of the pattern, isn't it, here? But it doesn't show any of the colour up on the front picture. But it is mixed black and blue. And the blue, which is going to be the dog and the flowers and certain motifs, I have chosen to use Gentle Arts Blue Jay. That's what I did. I went into my local needlework shop, which doesn't have a huge amount of choice, not like some of these gorgeous shops you've got in the States, but it does have some. And so I just went and looked for a nice variegated blue that I could use. So I'm using 310 black and this one, and that is what I have done so far. A boot and a dog's head, and you can see the variation in the blue on the dog. Really nice. And again, this is a simple one to stitch, no blends, two colours, and no fractionals, and it's quite a nice break when, you know, I've been stitching Teresa Wentzler's and they are not simple and they don't come together quickly, whereas this one I think does. Thread. And that leaves us with today's, and today is my Foxy, my little beauties. So cute. And I haven't done much on those yet today. Which way up is this? It's that way. That way. Needle minder at the top. Smooth the thread out of the way. Ooh. Stuck. And this is on 18 count oatmeal Ada, which again is quite stiff and scratchy. And that is the nose or beginning of this fox here, and I'm hoping to kind of go up and do this bit today. So that's some of the grey bits, which kind of get lost a little bit in the oatmeal. So some of it is very similar colour, but it'll come out. You'll be able to see it when it's got everything else around it. But I love all the oranges. They're going to be really nice, and I chose my needle minder to match the colours. Needle Keep Emporium. Hi, Catherine. So that's that. So I'll work on some more today, and then hopefully I will keep up with the rest of my Maynia starts. I'm going away this weekend to my parents, which will be lovely. My nephew is 3 on Sunday, so they have a party for him there. So that's like 5 hours up north to Derbyshire, where I originally come from. And so I've saved some of the really small starts that I want to do for Maynia to take with me for the weekend. So I've got a little Mill Hill kit, I've got a little Brooks Books thing. They'll be going with me up north so that I've got something small and I don't have to have a whole load of stuff. And then hopefully next week I shall come back and show you the second half of my Maynia. So happy stitching, happy enjoying Maynia, whether you are just watching, whether you're participating in any way. I hope that you have a lot of fun and really enjoy it, because that's what it's all about. No stress, no worries. If you're having fun, great. If you're not, just stop. It's fine. There are no rules. There's so many people been posting and saying, what are the rules? What do I need to do? Is it okay if I do this? And, you know, I'm not an admin on the group. I'm not one that set it up. I did it last year, and I've read loads of things about it that the admins have said. And as far as I can tell, the only rule is to have fun with it. Do something that makes it a little bit manic for you, kind of perhaps pushes you out of your comfort zone ever so slightly. But if you're not enjoying it, don't do it. It's a hobby, and it's here for fun and to make you just enjoy what you're doing, enjoying your stitching. And if doing lots of starts would stress you out, don't do it. It's not worth it. Just do what you want to do, and you're still part of the community, and it's still a great thing to be a part of. I love this community. And so, yeah, have fun. Happy stitching. And I will hopefully catch you at some point towards the end of next week and with the rest of my Maynia. Take care. Bye.